From Jeffrey Paschal being booted off the show for assault charges, to Danielle Jabali lying about her finances and arrest record, here are some pretty dark secrets from TLC's 90 Day Fiancé. Remember the time Jeffrey was booted off Season 4 because of his assault conviction? Fans were appalled when the American decided that the best time to tell his girlfriend, Vara Molina, about his past as a convicted criminal was after he traveled hundreds of miles to be with her in Russia. Molina listened on, obviously too stunned to speak, while the guy she'd planned on starting a family with told her that he'd been arrested a few years ago, because not only did they find drugs on them, he was allegedly dealing them too. She eventually decided to overlook his past and stick by him. The 34-year-old was grown enough to make her own decisions, sure, but fans weren't too keen on having Paschal around after this revelation. That, plus the fact that he was still keeping something from Molina. A little digging revealed that the Season 4 star had a pending case against him for assaulting his ex-fiancée. The details of the case were horrific, and I'm putting it lightly. Paschal kidnapped his ex-fiancée, refused to let her leave their joint home, and held her by her neck, banging her head against the wall. Yeah, you'd think there was no going back after that, but Molina claimed that she'd stand by Paschal's side no matter what. The network, though, wasn't blindingly in love with the guy and announced that he'd be leaving the season stat. During the season finale's tell-all episode, it was revealed that after a 2-day trial, a jury had found Paschal guilty and a judge had sentenced him to 18 years behind bars. You guessed it. Molina continues to advocate for his release from the outside. Fans had a hard time believing that TLC didn't know about the guy's criminal history, but it was pretty obvious no one knew that Molly Hopkins had already married Luis Mendez before filming began. It was honestly hard for anyone to believe how someone like Molly, a financially secure, morally upright, and seemingly stable woman, would deal with Luis's toxicity for as long as she did. The mismatched couple was introduced to us back in Season 5 of the show, and right off the bat, you could tell they were doomed. Luis would constantly bring Molly down, make inappropriate advances toward her oldest daughter, Olivia, and refuse to step up for her younger daughter, Kinsley. For some bizarre reason, the American businesswoman just seemed to take it. Well, as it turns out, she did have a pretty solid reason. After a pretty nasty spat with Luis, Molly finally decided to call time of death on their relationship and kicked him out. Fans were ready to hop on their computers and tweet congratulations to the newly single mother of 2. But right in the next scene, Molly revealed that she had a secret. She'd already married Luis before Season 5 began. Yup, the Dominican had convinced her they needed to tie the knot before the show began and pocket their fee from the show. Were the producers happy with this revelation? Not at first, no. Still, as the show went on, they decided to reinvent Molly's role as a scorned ex-wife looking to cut all ties with her foreign lover. It worked out well for them, I'd say. On the whole, pocketing their appearance fee note, fans were shocked at how little the American cast members were making. You need to factor in that the crew has to follow you around the entire day, and it's pretty hard to find a workplace that's comfortable with cameras in their office throughout the day. Season 5's Nikki Cooper revealed that the American cast members often have to quit their day jobs while filming. I guess being the star of a scandalous reality show is a job too. Still, 90 Day Fiancé reportedly pays the American cast members peanuts. Fans were stunned when it was revealed that the cast members made a little less than $1,000 per episode, had to pay for their own flights and transport, plus their own hair and makeup sometimes, and were expected to work for sometimes 12 hours every day. It's hard to get by on that much, but I guess the fame from the show and the endorsement deals that come afterward make it all worth it. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, the non-American cast members make nothing at all. So despite how it might seem to some skeptic viewers, the foreign partners are often left with the shorter end of the stick. Like Natalie Mordovtseva, when Mike Youngquist told her he hadn't filed her paperwork yet. She might have been petty and loud, but Mike was no walk in the park either. And what's worse than having a husband who already has one foot out the door? His mother egging him on in the background to just dump you already. The Ukrainian started off her relationship with Mike with a lot of promise, all for the first few minutes of the show. That is, despite what everyone believes, Trisha's incessant nagging wasn't what led to their relationship breaking down. It was actually the fact that Mike had lied to Natalie about filing her green card paperwork. Okay, so I think a little backstory is needed here. The two got married, all for a hot minute before Natalie up and left him. She then spent all of 90 Day Fiancé, the single life, trying to win him back. Mike kept rejecting her advances and told her to quit it, and then, probably fed up with Natalie following him around everywhere, told his now ex-wife during Season 2's finale tell-all episode that he hadn't filed her green card paperwork yet. Wow, so that meant that not only was the Ukrainian staying in the country illegally, but Mike had effectively jeopardized her chances of ever getting a green card. Sure enough, Natalie was furious. A pretty warranted reaction if you ask me. I also thought Jenny Slatten would be furious at Sumit Singh after Singh revealed that he was already married. You know what they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What happens when you fool someone thrice? In Jenny Slatten's case, you marry the guy after they've lied to you 3 times already. Slatten and Singh's relationship started off pretty rocky, probably because the Indian was catfishing her as a European named Michael Jones. He soon revealed his real identity, and after a bit of convincing, Jenny decided to give him a second chance. She did more than that, actually. She moved to India for 90 Day Fiancé, the other way, and lived in a rented apartment where Sumit would periodically visit her and take her sightseeing. Here, Jenny realized that Singh had lied to her about his financial state, and her kids became increasingly worried, believing that Singh was trying to scam her out of her retirement fund. Again, after some convincing, Jenny decided to give Singh a third chance. They were already on thin ice when one day, while the two were lounging in the apartment, Sumit's family barged in and started berating the two. As it turns out, the guy was already married. Sure, he was separated, but divorce proceedings hadn't started yet, and he kept that aspect hidden from Jenny. Naturally, she was devastated. But you know what she did? Yup, she married the guy after he finalized his divorce with his first wife. And just like that, in another 90 Day Fiancé plot twist of the decade, Danielle and Mohammed have stayed friends, even after the mother of 4 lied to her Tunisian husband about her criminal record. Mohammed wasn't winning any favors from fans during his stint in the show, but fans quickly changed sides when Danielle revealed that she'd been keeping a major secret from the guy. The mismatched pair met online, and just 2 weeks into their online relationship, Mohammed proposed to Danielle. The American quickly accepted, much to her friends' and family's warning, that the Tunisian was only looking for a quick payday from her. Back then, nobody could understand why Danielle was fiercely defending her beau because, he made it pretty obvious he was using her. But in retrospect, she knew he couldn't be after her money because she didn't have any to begin with. Yup, Mohammed was left with his jaw on the floor when Danielle revealed she wasn't able to hold a job after getting convicted for credit card fraud and check bouncing, which landed her in prison a few years ago. The woman had no money. Mohammed was furious, mostly because he claimed Danielle had convinced him to up and leave his comfortable life in Tunisia, saying she could guarantee him a more comfortable life in the States. After a messy breakup, scathing tweets, and lots of drama later, the exes announced that they're actually on pretty good terms now. So, from Danielle lying about her finances and arrest record, to Jeffrey Peschel being booted off the show for assault charges, these were some dark secrets from 90 Day Fiancé.